am I at there? Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Can we all hear me okay? I've been having some technical issues. I've been trying to work around with this. Excellent. Let me just click on... there we go. Let's have an intro, shall we? For fuck's sake. There we are. Right. I know I'm getting echo back. Why am I getting echo back? Is everyone hearing me okay? Bin that off. There's no echo? Okay, it's just me then. All right. That's okay. As long as I'm not ruining everybody else's ears, I can work around this. Yeah, you'll have to forgive me, guys. It's been a couple of months since I last streamed. It was December, and it turns out in that time they've seemingly updated OBS and has changed everything, so including resetting all my settings. So Corn, I set this up before, so it was meant to show the NASA stream on there, but then and I loaded it up and it was working fine, and then suddenly now it's now not. So I'm just going to try and bring that back up. I can only assume that they ended the stream that I was watching, maybe. So let me just try updating that. Yeah, I set this up before because I thought I've not streamed for quite a while, and then there we go. Okay, so now I keep hearing myself and I can't work out why. So I just need an audio check. Can everyone hear the NASA stream here? No, okay. How about now? No. You have inspiration. How about now? No. People starting this pipeline, STEM workers and manufacturers and operators that are excited to see what you can do when you work hard and come together as a team. When I think about the four of us flying around the far side of the moon, seeing that Earth flying around. Okay. Yeah, I need to work out why that's doing that. So let me just bin off everything here and hope it's not going to break everything. Like I said, OBS have changed everything, and I don't know why.
humanity can do this extraordinary thing when we set big goals.
And CDR entity.
Okay, how's that? Is that sounding better now?
And so Mission Control Houston will control the flight of Orion after
I now can't hear myself, so that's at least a bonus. You lot, unfortunately, can. Excellent. Right, well, thank you everyone for joining us, and apologies for the messy start. I was I'd originally set the time to start about now, and then I thought I kind of had the plan of I was going to get some work done, and then I'd just jump on just to stream sort of before the launch. And then I thought, I'm not actually getting any work done because I'm too excited. I'm just sat here actually waiting for this to go anyway. So I thought I might as well go live early and sort of join in with everybody. And then, yeah, like I said, I loaded up OBS and was having nothing but problems. It wasn't connected to my YouTube account anymore, or it was giving me errors that I couldn't go live. So yeah, but we're okay now.
Judd Freeling will report a go for launch from Houston flight. Upon liftoff, teams here take control.
Oh, thank you very much for joining. The dog is Rusty. He's an integral part of all streams. In fact, people get very angry if he's not on stream. They care less if I'm not on stream, which is only slightly.
During the more than 8 minutes of powered
I'm joking. Rusty is a crucial part to the live streams. I'm just going to take that earbud out for a second because it's a little distracting and I don't think there's much going on at the moment. I'm just going to turn that down as well. I'll just keep an eye on things. What's Bart Cybrell doing? Probably crying, I imagine. I think there are a lot of very excited people at the moment around the world ready to watch this. I'm just looking here. This NASA stream here currently has over 750,000 people watching, and NASA for some reason running 2 live streams simultaneously. One with even more, with about 200,000 viewers, so that's about 1 million. Plus, you've then got the likes of Everyday Astronaut and NSF and there's a few other big ones, and then even the smaller channels. So obviously, I'm covering it. MC Toon's currently live covering it. Red's Rhetoric is with the Drunk Debunk show near the launch site, actually viewing it live and streaming it as well. There's so many people streaming this particular launch. What is probably one of the most exciting days for a lot of people. I think the only people who aren't excited are flat earthers and probably some Apollo hoaxers as well. Everyone else is absolutely loving it. It's been a long time coming, that's all I can say. Obviously, I know Artemis has gone through many delays. Well, it wasn't even Artemis before delays, it was Constellation beforehand, and then they scrapped that and brought in SLS to replace it, and then that's been suffering with delays, which obviously hoaxers then turn around and say, well, it's clearly fake because there's all these problems. Clearly they're not aware of how government projects run these days. Let's just say, if you think that the moon landings were fake because this project has been overrunning, then you probably should take a look at HS2 railway in the UK, because you'll probably think that trains are fake after that as well. I need to work out now. I don't have access to the super chats, which is a bit of a bummer. So let me just figure out how to get that back on. Oop. Whilst dropping my headphones. So yes, Artemis II, quite an exciting mission. well, it's sending humans back to the moon for the first time since 1972. Most of you probably aware of that anyway. But actually, I find that Artemis II is quite an interesting mission for the argument of whether they went to the moon in the 60s or not. In fact, that's what I was in the middle of working on when I then getting distracted, was writing, sort of planning out a video that I'm going to do about the Artemis II mission, because assuming this actually launches today, is going to present what I think is a very big problem for anybody who's of the opinion that that the moon landings didn't happen, because this flight is somewhat replicating Apollo 8 in that they are flying around the moon. However, whereas Apollo 8 took a very direct approach to the moon, they went literally from low Earth orbit, TLI burn, straight to the moon, and then orbited the moon for, I think it was a day or so they orbited. It was Christmas Eve. They did that famous read of Genesis from lunar orbit on Christmas Eve. And then, but Artemis 2 is going slightly differently. So they're going into low Earth orbit first, and then they'll do an apogee raise, which will put them into a more of a high elliptical orbit, where they'll do a full orbit there, and then they'll head out to the moon. So it's gonna be tomorrow. Well, it's gonna be 24 hours or so after launch before they actually do the TLI burn to reach the moon, and then it's 3 or 4 days coasting to reach the moon. But yeah, for me, it's quite interesting the fact that they're doing the high elliptical orbit first and then going to the moon, because the big argument for Apollo hoaxers is the Van Allen belts. Well, each Apollo mission only went through the belts twice, once out and once back, whereas Artemis 2 now is going to be doing 4 trips through, because it's going to be going into the belts and out the belts, and then through them again. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Right, where was I? I need to find my chat and make sure I don't start echoing again. Wherever did I put it? Okay. Okay, I'm not getting any echo. I'm hoping that's not looping now. Right, let's see. So, sorry, I was just in the kerfuffle. I lost track of the chat, so I need to catch up with everything. Gary IO, you got Red's Rhetoric on the stream. If not, why not? You should. I was going to, Gary. In fact, I had it. I need to set that up, in fact. So I was watching Red's Rhetoric stream before, but they were just having nothing but buffering and technical issues and the like. So I was mindful of that. But let me pull this up here. There we go. There we are. So as per your request, Gary, there is Red stream currently. It's looking a little bit low bit rate. They've been suffering with some bandwidth issues and the like, so hopefully that picks up. But there we are. So that is Red's Rhetoric's views. So he's got This is his Celestron, I think it is, telescope viewing SLS on the pad. This is where the guys are set up on the edge, and then this is, they've got a P1000, which I think they're going to be tracking as well. So yeah, I'm very envious that I'm not there. And they also do it at ridiculous times. That's why, by the way, I'm going to be very mindful and just sort of try not to get too excited and loud, because it's currently 11 o'clock and there's a child sleeping just the other side of that wall and a child asleep downstairs, and I don't want to make too much noise. So just in case any flat earthers are watching and think that this all fake, because I'm not getting excited. I am trying to keep myself sort of somewhat composed. Gran Torino, $10. These people are trying to go where man have gone before, better and much more boldly than themselves. Yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that they've gone there before. The thing is, like, a lot of people say, why are they doing a mission like this? Why are they flying? Oh, here we are. Reds has got the buffering issues again. Jared Isaacman, what's he saying these days?
Farther into space than any humans might have gone before, 250,000 miles away, and it's going to set up for the subsequent missions. That's why we're going into the golden age of science and discovery right now, because you're going to see a moon rocket launch in 2027 when we do our testing with the lander. We're going to go for the landing on Artemis IV in 2028, and in parallel, we're going to build the moon base, right? And that is going to be filled with science discovery and tech demonstrations that's going to support the enduring presence we're trying to create on the surface.
Absolutely. So honestly, history-making years ahead of us, with Artemis.
Yeah, so I'm going to chat about this because obviously Artemis, the program went through a bit of a reshuffle in recent weeks, thanks to Jared here, and I think it's actually great that he's done it. He's doing this because it's what NASA needed. They've over Constellation and through the early years of SLS, it was all very much bureaucracy and sort of being quite tentative and taking baby steps over long period, trying to sort of make huge jumps with few launches and making the biggest steps possible. Whereas with Apollo, they didn't. It was like regular flights, and similar to what SpaceX is doing. And the thing that Jared points out is that if you try doing one launch every couple of years, you kind of lose. He called it muscle memory. That kind of that flow of across everything, across the contractors building the rockets, the crews, and the ground teams of working on the rockets. They kind of just lose that flow. It takes them longer each time, whereas if you do it more regularly, more consistently, it just becomes second nature. So he's pushed more for more frequent launches and making sort of not as big a strides between each one. So originally when Artemis was dreamt up, they said Artemis 1 was going to be an unmanned test flight, similar to how Apollo 4 and Apollo 6 was. Then Artemis 2, as we are now, crewed flight around the moon, similar to Apollo 8. And then they were going to jump straight to a landing on Artemis 3, which would obviously then be Apollo 11. But they've sort of shifted it around now, and they've said Artemis 3 isn't even going to be leaving Earth orbit. It's low Earth orbit. It's going to stay in low Earth orbit and test out landers, which is essentially what they did with Apollo 9. And then Artemis 4, as he's just mentioned there, should hopefully be a go for the moon, all being well. Obviously, if there's issues with Artemis 3, they've got the ability then to say, okay, well, we'll do Artemis 4 as another run of Artemis 3 to try and fix whatever problems we came across. hopefully none of that will be the case, but yeah, it's interesting seeing sort of some of the similarities and some of the differences. But I really enjoyed seeing the press conference that Jared did where he laid out all of this, because it was just the right sort of attitude, basically, that NASA needs, is just grab the bull by the horns of, yeah, we're working on this. It's quite interesting, in fact. Funnily enough, I'm currently in the middle of reading this, which is Chariots for Apollo book, and I've got another one, which, even though it's the same title, it's actually a different book. But it's all about sort of talking a lot about the whole Apollo program. And really the bit that I'm sort of getting through at the moment is the early coming up with the ideas, and it's just really interesting hearing or reading about the mindsets that they all had. There was some elements of a lot of arguing going on and discussions about what's the best approach. But ultimately there was that drive of, we need to get things moving here. We've got deadlines and we need to be pushing. Whereas, because obviously they were in a race with the Soviets, whereas now it's, well, it's neither here nor there. So what if it takes us another year or so? We've already been there and done it. So I think that's been the mindset for a couple of years, is just sort of, there's not been that same urgency because it's doing stuff that's already been done. Whereas obviously now it's sort of pushing it more like it was with Apollo, which I'm happy about. Ace SW says, I really hope this Artemis II mission works out, and if there's a lot of Earth from space, could you repeat that meteorology video compared from Artemis to ISS to Earth patterns? That could be an interesting one to look at. Anyone who's not seen it, I did a video a couple of years ago now, where I just found a time lapse from the ISS, but it was a very recent one at the time. I found a website that publishes the time lapses literally only a day or two after they happen, and it was a very clear, high resolution time lapse, and I was able to locate sort of exactly where on Earth, above Earth, the ISS was, and I found the weather radar details for that exact same time, and I was able to sort of go through and match up the cloud patterns perfectly to sort of say, this is clearly not being CGI'd, because you ain't going to do it in 2 days. Oh, hello, what's going on there? Drunk Debunk Show just seems to keep sort of... Look at this. They say flat earthers can't tech. He's managed to do, what's that, 13 live streams they've now managed to do, and the rocket hasn't even got off the ground yet. So we'll just cut away from that for a moment, and we'll catch back up with it shortly. Where have I gone? Val for £5 says, if you're curious, my Apollo model is still not finished, as you predicted a while ago. Yeah, Val messaged, I think it was Christmas, wasn't it, Val? You got a Saturn, a model of the Saturn V. And yeah, don't worry, I've still got I still have a Airfix model of a Tornado jet fighter that I've opened, haven't actually even started it yet. So you're doing better than I am. Emma says the NASA audio stream's a bit low. I have just turned it back up. Hopefully that's not too loud. I'm just trying to find a balance for now. I've not actually got a headphone into an earpiece in to hear what's going on. So let me just.
They appear to have cleared that issue, so we are go for launch.
Yes, it's exciting.
I'd say that's pretty good news. I missed what the issue was, unfortunately. Like I said, I didn't have a headphone in, but it sounded like they were just working through an issue. So I did read somewhere they said, I heard, I think it was Everyday Astronaut before, mentioned that there will be a hold on a planned hold just before they launch. So don't be too alarmed if there's anything there.
Everything has gone really smoothly today. It's been great. The weather cleared up.
I sold the 74, says Rusty looks so relaxed. Yes, he is. He's in his chair. This is one thing that I think the live streams really highlight is a lot of people, I get a lot of people commenting on my videos, kind of making or seem to be under the impression that I'm like basically forcing Rusty to be on the chair with me. And in actuality, it's not. Anytime I come up here and I sit down at the computer, he parks himself right there. And he's basically got to move aside to let me sit down as and when I want to do videos.
Can you help us with that, please?
They want to be the crew wants to be the shoulders that the next generation can climb.
HSW, interesting how the mood changes when you're doing a live stream at a time where people are sleeping. Yeah, I get in trouble. I do. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm trying to keep the earphones out so I can regulate my own internal volume. Because usually if I live stream at night, particularly if I'm on like a Zoom call with somebody else, if I'm joining somebody else's stream, I can kind of volume creeps up ever so slightly and I don't necessarily realize it, and then I find out about it the next morning when my missus is like, you were way too loud. So I'm just trying to be very mindful here.
One question for you guys. We asked you earlier on today, what are you most excited for? We asked you to go vote on
Red's stream back up.
Instagram, you guys said
okay, Red's stream is back up. So there we are, we can get that back on.
All be very excited since we are now about 17 minutes from the opening of our launch window today. And so with that, as we approach terminal count, let's send it back to Daryl Nail in firing room 1. Daryl.
All right, thank you.
Okay, 17 minutes until opening of the window. There's no guarantee that they will launch immediately. Very much like SpaceX launches, if you've ever watched them, is they have Red's stream has crashed again. Oh, I say Red's. I keep blaming Red's. Red's is just operating the Drunk Debunk Show's stream has crashed again. Mike has seemingly keeps breaking it. Thankfully, as you can sort of see, he has got there we are. He has got the camera recording the whole thing as well. So that'll be on Red's Rhetoric's YouTube channel. He's very good at getting very high quality recordings of rocket launches, so I'd highly recommend keeping an eye out for that going live there. Yes, so they have a launch window which is 2 hours. I'm really hoping that they go early in the launch window and not late, because then it means I can go to bed sooner. I don't know how long I'm going to stream for and kind of just see what happens. If it's, I don't know what video we're going to see from them either. I know during Artemis I, very soon after takeoff, once he got sort of away from the tracking cameras, it really just cut to animations for quite a while. But I did see NASA have got a live stream that's, I don't think it's live yet. I'm just going to check, but they had one that said it was going to be live streamed from within the Orion capsule. So I don't know if they're going to be doing, or a live stream of the Orion capsule. So I don't know if they've got a stream going so they've got a live stream that's live views from Orion that's scheduled to go live at 11:30, which if they launch at the start of the window, would put that being a good, what's that, 10 minutes after, 5 minutes after launch potentially. So who knows? It could well be streams from outside the craft whilst they're in orbit, which would be, well, amazing. So yeah, I'm going to kind of just wait and see what's going on, and then sort of judge it from there as to how long to stream for. And I'll also keep an eye on my phone as to whether I get messages going, can you keep the bleeding noise down? Kevin Ashley, I see Rusty has his own window. Rusty regularly has his own window on live streams. In fact, Rusty has had his own live streams before. I have done live streams in the past where I've literally streamed for a couple of hours, and it is a view like that, where I basically just leave some calming audio playing in the background, and yeah, people can just sit there and watch a dog sleeping. Okay, everything still seems clear for launch, so that's still good to hear. Yeah, so it's exciting times. This is well, there's pretty much the majority of people, I think, watching this weren't alive during Apollo. So, you know, kind of it's for them is, well, for me, this is crazy that I mean, I've spent so many years sort of being obsessed with space flight, being obsessed with the moon landings and Apollo, and I do so many videos looking over, or I do so many videos about Apollo and looking back over all of the old footage and being very envious of the people who were there to see it at the time. Yeah, being very envious of people who got to see it at the time, whereas I'm sort of left looking back on the old stuff. And people often say to me, you know, when you get on them hypotheticals, you know, if you could go back to any period in time, when would you go back to? And I frequently say I would go back to sort of late 1960s to be able to see Apollo happening in real time. You know, I go and see one of the launches in person. I would have loved to have seen a Saturn V go. It's a shame, really, isn't it? You know, you can go to air shows and see old planes that have been restored and flown again. I wonder if they'll ever sort of refurbish one of the Saturn V's from the museums and just send it up for the fun of it. Oh, Reds has crashed again. Let's give it a Reds. Mike has crashed again. Let's put listening on what's going on while I fix my background.
So when we get to about 50 seconds from now, we'll extend that hold. CVSE OTC.
Oh, sorry, that was me. Bad.
CVSE 400 290. Looking to verify that we are configured for ascent. Yep, give me about 2 more minutes. I'm going to start CMA2 streaming. Copy.
NTD COSE hold requested.
Copy that.
I have an LCC violation of O-CT-004, S-band transponder anomaly. This was a transient LCC violation, so transponder 1 had a demodulated SNR estimate that went down to 2 dBm. When it should have been between 10 and 13, it is now back up to 12, but we did lose that for just a moment. It does not appear that we lost our bit sync or carrier lock, which would be indicative that we lost our lock with the vehicle. So at this point, recommendation would still be go. However, we do have a pre-planned contingency procedure if we want to look at that. But again, this is transient, so we're back in a nominal range.
All right, let's see, LPE NTD.
Yeah, we're not seeing that hit, so I guess the question for COSE, was that less than 3 samples? Is that below our persistence?
stand by. Let me look. It did look like it did persist for several seconds on mine, but let me take a look at the number of samples.
Could I get a repeat on the effective?
Okay, hopefully that's not a major issue. Seem to have a slight glitch with one of the I think they said it was a transponder signal. So yeah, they did say there'd be a hold anyway, which I think this is part of the planned hold, potentially, given the fact that it's exactly 10 minutes. But we'll keep an ear in and hope for the best. Hopefully it's not too big of a delay if there is one. I mean, if it's a failed transponder, that's an issue.
Yeah, copy that. RFTS does report that they also lost lock for about 5 seconds. So I would love to ask KUS and see if they also lost lock with the vehicle for any extended amount of period.
And COSE, while we're doing that, these are 1/10 hertz measurements, correct? So we would have had to lose it for over 10 seconds to get a second sample?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It is 1/10 hertz.
Yeah, so from our perspective, the allowance is effectively up to 30 seconds, up to 3 samples based on the 1/10 hertz. This is not an LCC violation, I believe.
Yes, sir. I would agree with that at this point. Copy that.
We're checking with KUS on 232. I don't think they have 212 access. We're trying to verify, but it sounds like they have a loss of lock as well.
Okay, so sounds like whatever the issue is, it's a minor glitch that hopefully shouldn't impact.
That's affirmed. We do have lock for COSE.
Going ahead. Right.
Yeah, so from the
Drunk Debunk shows back live, but he's buffering again, so.
Let's go.
And this is Houston Flight. We have lock and we have good telemetry here in GSC.
And KUS is reported to they have good lock now. So with all of that, OSC, then are we in a go configuration per your LCC?
Yes, sir. Recommendation would be go.
Right. LP, you concur with that? Yes, sir. LP concurs go. And Launch Director?
Yes, sir. Launch Director concurs go.
Excellent.
Right.
Sounds like everyone's happy to go.
Everybody has everything else complete, Launch Director, and if we do, we'll be ready to pick up the pole at that time, unless there's something else that you're aware of.
No, sir. Let's verify all our work is complete, and I would like one last check of our constraints list.
Right.
All right.
Get this
OTC,
bad boy lit then, shall we?
Config, or are you
that is affirmed, sir.
Okay, is that your only open item?
Yeah, OTC, this is CVSC. That 400 step 290 is complete. Copy.
Okay, so OTC, you're complete with all your work?
That's affirmed.
All right, copy that. STC?
STC is complete.
And GTC?
GTC is complete.
Okay, excellent. All right, and LPE, just want to verify we have no open constraints at this time. No open constraints. We have a clear board, sir. Okay, tracking the same here. And Launch Director, with that, we are clear and ready to pick up the launch readiness pole with your go.
All right, sir. I am go for the pole.
All right. And for all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the Artemis II launch readiness check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC.
GTC is go.
STC.
STC is go.
GTC.
C's go.
MCO.
CO's go.
Safety Console.
The Safety Console is go.
LPE. LPE's go. RTD.
RTD's go.
Houston Flight.
Houston Flight is go.
Rock.
Rusty, are you go?
Rock is go.
And CDR.
No. I think we might have to scrub the mission, boys. Rusty's not really up for it.
NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the Launch Director performing the final poll for launch, verifying no constraints, and go for launch. EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
Artemis CSO.
They're polling around a lot of people here as well.
Thank you. Range
You want to phone up some flat earthers and ask them if they're go for launch as well.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis, MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
There's currently 1.78 or 1.77 million people watching just this stream live from NASA. Oh, why am I getting reverb now?
We are going for all humanity. All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed,
all right.
Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, on this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go.
Come on.
And into the launch
Oh,
director.
hello. Must be nearly time. Rusty's moving.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Yeah, Fitzroy, it's crazy how many people are watching the various streams. I mean, I imagine probably like some of you here, you maybe got like multiple people's streams open trying to watch it all, but just searching Artemis II, there's
start and verify recordings of our
1.75 million people watching this.
Well, there you heard it.
500,000 people watching the other NASA live stream, 20,000 watching videos from Space's live stream, 27,000 CBS, Aaron Rhines is 3,000. Oh, there's me. CNN 117,000. Spaceflight Now 151,000. This really is like a modern day Apollo, I think, of sort of the new generation also being able to watch what will hopefully be historic.
You heard an issue, worked in real time with telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short.
I'm just going to pull the audio back down there.
That they had a good lock.
So yes, it was a telemetry glitch, the same, but nothing that's going to stop them from going.
That issue, looked at the data, and cleared it.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, especially like I said for the likes of me, who's been into space for so long. I couldn't not stay up to watch this, even though it's like 11:30 now. Normally, I'd be getting up quite early in the morning to go to the gym, and I was just like, I'm gonna skip tomorrow. I'm gonna skip tomorrow, and I'm gonna stay up to watch this. Yeah, so still just waiting for them to unhold the count. Not quite sure why it's why they're holding it for so long, but you know, I'm not a rocket scientist, so.
ECL time estimate?
About a minute.
Copy.
So we're going into the launch window, but not by much, it looks like.
Oh, of course, that might be why they're holding it, because they've got to wait till they're within
wrapping up some final work.
The launch window before they start the timer again.
And once that's completed, you'll hear NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding ask for the ground launch sequencer operator to go ahead and start the clock.
bipolar, is this one crewed? Yes, this one is crewed. So Artemis 1 was an uncrewed flight, which was a extreme test of Orion. So the Orion capsule was first tested in space during EFT1, which was quite a few years ago now. They tested it because it was originally for the Constellation program. Then they did the unmanned test flight on Artemis 1 a few years ago, which was a full send it round the moon and back. This is a crewed test flight. So they are clear this is still a test flight, in that they're going to do a full man test of all of the Orion systems, which they did during Apollo. So Apollo 7 was a manned test flight, 2 weeks long in Earth orbit to test all the systems of the command module. Once they were happy with that, they then went on to Apollo 8, which flew it to the moon. So essentially this is taking sort of Apollo 7 and 8 and putting them together. The next flight, Artemis 3, will still be a test flight because it's going to be testing the compatibility of Orion to whatever lander they're going with. Okay, we're down to 9.5 minutes. And then, in theory, Artemis 4 should then be the big one. That's the one that's going to land on the moon, all being well. When that will happen, who knows? But time will tell.
Houston flight copies. 223512.
Affirm.
Okay.
There you heard confirmation of the exact
22:35,
T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again,
looking
our
good.
T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to...
I missed a couple of super chats. I do apologise. Val, he had another super chat. Hello, Dave. Long time no stream. You know we miss you sometimes. Thank you, Val. Yes. I haven't streamed since December. So I'm a bit out of practice with everything. I last streamed for the anniversary of the final experiment, our Antarctica trip. So I did a stream back then, and yeah, since then it's obviously been Christmas and had a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, so that is crew loading arm moving out the way now. Everything else will stay connected until sort of the last second, and then they'll all move out very quickly.
That was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, backup transitions to a launch.
Nagy asks, is Jaren watching this? I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. There is a strong chance he will.
Of course, the launch abort system. Great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket.
I'm going to pull up because I had Reds' stream, but it's just not working for him. So I'm going to throw in the Everyday Astronauts stream instead, because they've got their own cameras as well, separate from NASA's stream. And he's in the press pit, so he should have good enough internet to not be suffering with any buffering. Tori, for 100 stacks, says Doggy Snacks. I trust those are snacks for Rusty, not me. So I'm sure he'll be very appreciative. Megalo, for 50 secs. It's amazing to be alive when humanity decided to return to the moon. A year ago, Flat Earth cried about Antarctica, and now this. Thanks for everything you do, Dave. my pleasure. Thank you very much. And you know, who knows? TFE2 might be send me to the moon. I would not object to that at all. And then Gary, IO, £5. And while this is going on, disproving flat Earth, I'm on FT8 on the 20 band. Oh, it's a 20-meter band disproving flat Earth. You couldn't make it up. Yeah, there's every way till Sunday that you can disprove flat Earth these days.
Now the team is waiting for verification that, if needed, the Artemis II crew could use the launch abort system to pull Orion safely off the top of the rocket in an emergency. Let's listen in for that call.
Let's not have that, ideally.
Last capability available. And CDR, do you copy?
CDR copies, last available.
That's great news, and you heard the NTD verify that with the commander of the mission.
Okay, so they can abort if they need to. Let's hope they don't have to. 5 minutes to launch.
This is so the range safety can send a flight termination command if the rocket flies too far off track. There's a brief built-in delay, so the launch abort system has time to pull the astronauts to safety first.
LH2 high flow bleed check.
All right, the high flow bleed check. That's so the cryo.
Don't know about the heart rates of the astronauts. Even mine's starting to build up now.
Engines, all 4 of them, are in the proper temperature range for launch.
Though I don't know, because obviously for us it's like exciting. This is something they've been just training for so long. I think it's probably much like the military. You know, for us, the prospect of a lot of military action is sends you crazy, whereas to them it's just the job they get done. So.
Auxiliary power units, high-speed turbines which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little later at T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what allows that to happen. Coming up in about 20 seconds, we're listening for go for purge sequence 4. That's a helium purge of the 4 core stage engines downstream of the propellant valve. This gets all the air and moisture out of there.
GLS is go for purge sequence 4.
Moving through the milestones. All is looking good. Coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test.
If you came over from your latest video to watch this, I'm going to finish it post-launch. So I hope you enjoy it. There's a lot of people, obviously, because it just happened to be that I always publish on a Wednesday, and it just so happened that it fell on a April Fool's, and it wasn't intended as an April Fool's. The idea that people are saying the moon is AI, but
and there you see them moving.
That was the yes. So they gimbal the main engines, so that's how they steer and pitch and roll the rocket. The SRBs, the solid rocket boosters, can't gimbal. They just thrust in whatever direction. So they gimbal the RS-25s in order to change the attitude of the rocket. Who knows? Maybe they'll throw in a little barrel roll for us.
Removed from the rocket's upper stage. The ICPS, and it's been switched to battery. Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis II crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers, is now on its own power. There's no more hold time because there's no more margin on these batteries. So we would have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge if we had a hold.
Don't mess it up now.
1 minute.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33
can I turn the audio
seconds,
from
control shifts from the
launch
ground
up a
launch
bit?
sequencer
Yes,
to
sure
the
thing,
rocket's
Gary.
onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down. But
Is that
under
okay, or
any
is that
holds
still
that
too...
can
I
come from
can't
the ground.
hear properly.
Now,
So
shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
Is that sounding okay for everybody? I got it really loud,
The
or
rocket
quite
is
loud,
on
but
its own.
it's not
4
changing when I
brave
change the
explorers
settings. So
ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched.
excellent.
Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go.
Sit
10,
back and enjoy it.
9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition.
There we
And
go.
Liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage
Everyday
begins.
stream's a bit behind.
Good roll.
That is a rocket.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
His pointy end up and flamey end down. That is the correct way to fly.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
Rusty still doesn't care. That sounds
Mission
thunderous.
elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
14 miles in a minute and a half.
Minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation.
SRBs are gone.
Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
Integrity, guidance converged,
Ooh.
performance nominal, upper stage
on board.
RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
It's frozen, but we had an onboard.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour. Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02.
We see the same on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Kármán line.
I think they are in space.
Outstanding, Stan, we have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
Well, that's certainly not some Blue Origin up and down flight, is it? That is a smooth tracking shot.
Integrity, GPS processing.
Outstanding, Stan. We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Okay, this looks incredible, but it's also really weird.
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination, GPS guidance, navigation, and control software.
I've got NASA's live stream open on this monitor, and I'm feeding the same URL into OBS to bring it up on screen for you guys to watch here. Except through OBS, I'm 4 seconds ahead of the actual NASA live stream on YouTube.
I'm now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
Yes, so if they have an engine, if one of the RS-25s cut out, they can just burn the stack for longer to still reach orbit. Kind of what happened on Apollo 13. Let's hope none of that happens.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
Yeah, Charles, I did think that NASA might have a delay, but the weird thing is that I'm feeding the NASA stream, the same URL that I've got here, I've put into OBS.
Officer will soon report the shutdown plan to flight director Judd Freeling, expected at the 7-minute mark.
Even if there was something, like even if they cut the feed from YouTube, it's still going to show up here as far as I can tell.
Expect nominal shutdown.
I don't know. Seems strange. YouTube's just all over the place these days. April Fools. That would have been funny but annoying if they'd got to completed the countdown and then just like a big April Fool's firework popped out the top of the rocket.
Seven minutes of mission elapsed time. Throttling down as we approach the abort once around option. Milestone at the 7-minute 30-second mark. Now 84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, AOA open.
I have to say that's impressive.
AOA open.
650 miles downrange and 80 miles up, and the tracking is still this accurate and smooth. That's an impressive system.
About 10 seconds.
My delay's longer than Freaky Blinders and Simon Dan's by a lot. I have got this set to ultra low.
And core stage separation.
I've got this set to ultra low latency. I don't know. I think YouTube's just makes it up on the spot.
Integrity and nominal MECO core stage separated.
So that is main engines. The main.
We see the same on board, Stan.
Yeah, is that the fuel tank? No, launch abort system separated. So that's the tower gone
8
from the
minutes,
top,
40
so
seconds into
I
the
have
flight, we
got
have a nominal main
the
engine cutoff heading and the
other
right
live
trajectory
stream of
on the way to
NASA's
swing
that's
around
not
the
gone
moon.
live yet, so
Core
when
stage
that
has
goes
separated,
live, I
done
will
its
bring that
job.
over.
Space Launch System upper stage, the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or
In
ICPS,
fact, do you know
still
what?
attached
I
to the
might as
Orion
well bring
spacecraft.
that over now, because
9 minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of
make it
Reed
full
Wiseman,
screen,
Victor
yeah,
Glover,
'cause
Christina
every day I
Cook, and
should
Jeremy
pretty
Hansen,
much
now in
just
orbit around the
mimicking
Earth
what
at the beginning of their journey to the moon.
what NASA's showing anyway. Oh, core stage separation.
Integrity Houston, looking ahead to PRM numbers so far per the pad.
Copy that, stand numbers for the pad.
Capcom Stan Loves now reminding the crew that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition is as expected prior to booster ignition. That time being 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time.
Okay, so that is the Orion feed. I'm just going to wait for if and when that goes live. I'm going to cut the audio because there's nothing much going on at the moment. Just while we wait for this other view to come on.
Good, Neds deploy.
Right, now I just need to
Good, Neds.
change this in the background.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
We copy that, stand halfway open.
Okay, so place your bets, everybody. How much are flat earthers calling fake now? My
11 minutes of mission elapsed time.
My prediction is just
the
yes.
Conversation between Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman, already passing some milestones. We have a good nozzle extension deployment system. That is confirmed. Complete. We also have the visors are confirmed up, now past the dynamic phase of flight that is ascent. Their launch and entry suits that provided them an extra layer of protection.
Nothing much happening at the moment, presumably, until they check all the Orion systems, and then
later in
maybe
today's
then they'll load
mission,
up
they
the...
will begin to egress or get out of the suits to begin some of
I'm quiet now. Okay.
initial tasks of activating some of the systems aboard in the Integrity spacecraft.
Yeah, I think that sort of going through everything at the moment now and just getting all the systems up and running and checked over properly, and then hopefully the stream that's like right up in the top corner there, which they say is live views from Orion, hopefully that'll then come online. So we will wait and see, but they've made it further than a lot of people thought they would. Obviously, you know, a lot of the hoaxers would have said, oh, they'll find some excuse. I think the fact that it was April Fool's was, I don't know whether maybe it was NASA intentionally just trying to annoy conspiracy theorists. Who knows? Yeah, Faraday says the fact. Oh, I lost the chat. The fact that they're using animations and not showing live views, yeah. But then they did the same with the Indian lunar lander, because you know obviously they could show videos, but it was more like snapshot. Oh, there we go. That looks like, is that a picture? rather than an actual live feed. Looks like they're getting the cameras ready. So hopefully, if the cameras are starting to come online, because I suppose that's the thing, they're probably not going to launch with the cameras up and running straight away. Or potentially they are, I don't know. Suppose the engineers would want to have good views of everything, but yeah, that's a point actually. They're currently sort of sitting in a shadow flying somewhere over Flatzoid, I imagine.
Space Coast, where we just saw Artemis II lift off 14 minutes ago, and wow, what an amazing launch and an emotional one too.
So I'm gonna take that out because yeah, I can't focus. I keep getting distracted by what they're saying, but really they're not actually saying anything at the moment because it's basically just waiting, I think, until they come back round to the daylight side. But that was well worth staying up for. I'm glad they didn't scrub it because I'd have been very annoyed. Especially considering looking at, they showed the launch windows because they had 6 days, consecutive days that they could have launched it, and they but each launch window was slightly later than the day before, so I think this was actually like the earliest they would have launched. Had it been pushed back tomorrow, it would have been about half an hour later, and then subsequently more and more until the point, I think by day 3 or day 4 it would have been a nighttime launch in the US, so it would have been beyond midnight here. Yeah, and you can see the excitement that we have here. You missed it. It all went off and you missed it. He doesn't care, he knows it's real. Hey, where's Wally the legend himself is in the chat. Hello Wally, hope you're well. Yeah, a sort of sunset, a golden hour launch. Could have looked good, but I've had to watch the replay afterwards. But I am definitely tired now. I mean, to be fair, I was tired beforehand. I didn't get much sleep last night, but I was powering through. I've been drinking cold coffee. It wasn't cold when I started the stream, but I forgot it was there. But yeah, you can't miss moments like this. Well, you can't if you're sort of, of the understanding that it's all actually real, not some CGI show. I suspect the flat earthers probably won't be too bothered about it, although yeah, so I suppose another point as well, in fact, the animation there, that's a camera view, but again it's sort of coming and going. It's not, problem is it's dark side, you don't know whether it's actually a continuous or whether it's just coming in and out, but it pointed out there the solar panels aren't actually out yet, so they're not going to want to run it, even if they've got a load of cameras. They're not going to want to run everything because it's sort of going to eat into batteries that they don't need to. Emma, is the stream interactive? Belly rubs for Rusty. These are from Emma. There you go, Emma. We even got a head scratch for you as well. Wally's thinking of getting out the scope and seeing if it can wander past. I was curious to know. I mean, it's probably not. There's no point. Hello. There's no point me breaking out the scope because I live in the UK. It's all clouds. So unless Orion is shaped like a fluffy cloud, I'm not going to see it. Oh, bless Emma. Emma, for another €10, just puts a heart. So, Emma, just for that, I'll do another set of belly rubs. Oh. Ryan says radio telescope. Well, if I could visit Jojo Bank and see if they can let me borrow theirs, but I think they're shut. I can't keep up with the chat now. It's going insane. Gary, £5. Good stream, Dave. This was epic. I completely agree, Gary. It was great to get to see it. And I look very much forward to obviously seeing what comes out over the next few days. I know obviously they're I think I can't remember the exact specifics. What are we at there? So 17, just over 17,000 miles an hour, but currently their altitude is still climbing. So I think from memory, they've not launched straight into orbit yet. I think they're in sort of more of an ellipse. So they're going sort of up, and left alone would come plowing back towards Earth, which they obviously don't want to do. Yeah, you can see the speed is scrubbing off. Where's no, there it is. Yeah, so whereas with there you go. In fact, talk of the devil, perigee rays burn. So currently, rather than being in an actual orbit, sort of a circular orbit, they're in more of an up and ellipse and over. So now they've reached that top part. They're doing this perigee rays burn, which will raise their lowest altitude from colliding back with to Earth to sort of skimming around. So they'll be in sort of an oval, well, an ellipse, but more similar to an oval. So that's what they're currently doing now. So I don't know if maybe once they've done the burn, they might then start to bring the cameras on. So yeah, that's the first bit. So they'll be into sort of a small ellipse around Earth. I think. Oh yeah, so this will be the ellipse orbit that they're then in. I don't know how high they're taking the perigee though, because I know they said it's quite an elliptical orbit, which presumably would then put them into the Van Allen belts for the first orbit, and then they'll do the TLI burn, I think, sort of around about a day from now. Yeah, Gary says, and when they get to perigee, they'll pick up speed for the TLI. Yeah. So that's kind of the difference, really, what they're doing. Excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice. What they're doing between Artemis to Apollo. So Apollo was just get into a circular or fairly circular orbit and then do the TLI straight to the moon. Whereas this one, because they don't have the same amount of engine thrust with this cryogenic stage that they're using, is nowhere near as powerful as the S4B stage of Apollo was. So they can't just do a straight burn, I don't think, in one go. They're sort of doing it over a period of time in order to save fuel, which is why the Artemis mission is going to take longer to get to the moon, because they're not sort of flying directly like they did with Apollo. And that's kind of the balancing act, and I think you see a lot of flat earthers sort of struggle with that notion at times of they do like gravity assist they do gravity assist flights where a lot of the small lunar landers, because they've not got crew on board, it doesn't matter whether they take 3 days or 3 months. you know, the equipment on board's still going to be there, so they'll take the most efficient way possible in order to reduce the amount of fuel that they need to launch with in the first place. I noticed Max in the chat. Hello, Max. He's settled again now. It's thrown me. I keep having to look over there to see the more up-to-date stream, but then I can't really keep track of the chat, so I'm having to then look over here. And then I did see... Oh, Bill Pearson, $20. Thanks for this, Dave, from the US, and for all the interesting content. Thank you very much for the super chat, Bill. It's much appreciated. Valas, Dave, are you streaming when they come back with a splashdown? I don't know, to be honest. Obviously, I knew I wanted to stream for this. I don't know exactly when the times are for splashdown, as to whether I'll be even free to stream, because I have so much on these days. That's why I've not really been streaming for the past few months, is my schedule's so hectic, and then I was mindful of not wanting to just stream things for the sake of streaming, so I was sort of more holding off and figured I'd wait until there was something actually worthwhile streaming. And I would say this is worthwhile streaming. So that's they're reaching. I'm just going to listen in. I think they're reaching solar array deployment.
Preferred.
This is Mission Control Houston, 25 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight of Artemis II. We have confirmation that all 4 solar array wings are deployed and latched. This is the configuration needed to switch to ATO preferred, which you did hear confirmed from pilot Victor Glover. That mode has been switched. There's also a discussion with Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman about the alignment of the MET clocks on the Orion spacecraft and the ICPS. Commander Reed Wiseman confirmed the clocks are in sync, no issues, they're going to investigate it on the ground. We're proceeding with today's mission. 26 minutes of mission elapsed time and counting.
So everything's still going as normal. I was just trying to understand a comment there. Scrabble person, the video that turned me on to not thinking humans went to the moon anymore was called The Conspiracy of Evil by Predictive History YouTube channel, aka Professor Jiang. I'm just too tired. So is that you saying you don't think humans went to the moon, or that video convinced you that humans went to the moon? What else did I miss? Green tea coffee for $5 for Rusty's treat fund. Thank you very much, Green. I will ensure that Rusty gets it whenever he can be asked waking up. Which, by the looks of it, is not anytime soon. He can be quite out of that he can be out of it for quite a while. Sometimes he'll be straight up and out, and then other times, particularly if he's like this, I could turn everything off and walk out and go to bed, and I'd have to go back and get him, because otherwise I know he'll wake up and start barking, wondering where everyone's gone.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching 28 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission.
Oh.
At this point, we've had a successful liftoff from the pad at 5:35 p.m. and 12 seconds p.m. Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. We've had a good main engine cutoff, core stage separation, and a good trajectory to begin today's mission. Right now, the spacecraft has maneuvered tail to sun. We're standing by for another maneuver to maneuver into the burn attitude. This is where the RL-10 engine of the ICPS is pointed in the correct orientation for the perigee raise maneuver. We did hear confirmation that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition has been confirmed per the pad, which means it was the predicted time prior to liftoff.
Integrity for GNC, we're taking channel 1 to unfiltered and to BFS.
I must have missed. I thought they were already on the perigee raise burn because that's what the apogee, that's what the animation's showing. But I was then just looking at it a bit confused because I'm then looking and going, the animation's showing the engine burn's taking place, but the speed's still slowing down, which is obviously doesn't add up. But I missed a couple of super chats there. I do apologise. Monochromatic Light for £5 said this thing is going 5,000 times faster than an unladen swallow, either African or European. It's not as fast as an Argentinian racing pigeon, though. I'm hoping everyone gets that quote, and if not, you need to go watch the two Ronnies. And then Post 1084 for $2 just says thanks. You're welcome. I can't really take the credit for it. It's really NASA that's done all the work. So Scrabble come back. So sorry, Scrabble says, I think the best logical reason to fake the moon landings for America was to seem like they won the space race and steal lots of taxpayer money. That would be their best reason to, but the problem is there's just so many problems with that. Because ultimately it would be NASA faking it, but all of the money really went, or most of the money went to contractors who were building the rockets in the first place, and the contractors were obviously then paying the staff. So you could argue, yeah, it would be forcing money back around, but it's not like NASA would get that much of it. Maybe Scrabble is a troll. I don't know. I kind of work on a theory of I'll put the information out there. I'm not gonna. I've not been keeping eyes on the chat, so I don't know. But even if Scrabble may be a troll, there may still be people watching who aren't. So I will put the information out there anyway. But yeah, the notion that they faked it to win doesn't make any sense, because convincing your own people that you've done it doesn't really achieve anything. If everyone else knows it's fake, you've got to convince everybody else. The whole reason for them doing it was to try and beat the Soviets. Well, the Soviets were tracking Apollo, so they would have known if it was fake. And I mean, I have done a video about this actually already, which, if you're going to go with the notion that they faked it to win the space race, Apollo 11 landed on the moon July 1969. But in May 1969, only 2 months prior, Apollo 10 flew basically a full dress rehearsal to get to the moon. They flew the same flight profile that Apollo 11 was going to fly. They went into lunar orbit. They undocked and descended the lunar module to within 50,000 feet of the lunar surface, and then did an abort, all of which was planned from the outset. They had news coverage videos that you can go back and watch showing this is what they were planning on doing. Well, why would they fake doing all of that? Why not just go with, well, we're sending them all the way there anyway, let's just land it, rather than fake all the photos and videos of them going most of the way to the moon to then have to refake it all again with Apollo 11. It just doesn't make any sense. Not to mention, I hear so many people asking the question, or saying this notion of, well, if they, you know, why has nobody been back? If they actually went in the 60s, why did they stop going? Why's nobody been back? Which I think is the wrong way of looking at it. Because I would say if they were faking it and they weren't actually going and they're getting all this money, why stop faking it? If they've got it, they did it six landings, they had it nailed to a T down to a T as to how to fake it and get all this incredible footage. Why stop? Mark Knight, £10. Thanks for all you do. Got me interested in space a few months ago. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mark. I'm glad. Glad I could help because I knew I loved space since I was a kid. For Kajo, £2. Wasn't this cool? Love your videos, Dave. Thanks. Cool would be an understatement, I would say. I'm sort of hanging around. I'm really hoping that they bring the this other stream online soon, so we can get some live views of Orion rather than just the animation. But I'm also mindful that it's now gone midnight, so I'll give it a little bit longer and I'll see what happens. I suspect they might not do the live stream until after they've done the perigee raise maneuver, which may take a while. So yeah, currently this is where things are getting interesting now, and this is sort of what I was starting work on for this video that I'm doing, because if you look at their altitude, their distance from Earth is 1,000, just over 1,000 miles from Earth, which now puts them within the Van Allen belts. They're not right in the thick of the Van Allen belts, I don't think. I still think they're on a sort of inclined orbit similar to Apollo, that they'd skip the worst part of the belt. But they're currently in the belt and going a hell of a lot slower than they were during Apollo. And they're going to go through it again tomorrow after they've done the TLI burn. I've still got 700 people watching me. This is insane. Thank you everyone who's joined and is watching this. Historic in the sense that it's humans going back to the moon, not historic that it's humans going to the moon for the first time, or historic that it's, you know, NASA faking yet another moon mission that some people will say they're doing. Tori, who's been a member of Rusty Fans for 9 months, says, still here. Glad you are, Tori. It's always nice to have you along. Planner Walk. Hey, Planner Walk, you okay? Planner Walk actually sent me a very funny screenshot the other day over Discord, which was just showing how great AI is, really. I don't know what they asked it, but it was something along. It must have been something along the lines of like what happened during Apollo 13, and it said that. In fact, let me pull up the message I got. So it linked the AI overview, linked to the video from Vintage Space that she's done all about Apollo 13, a very in-depth video that's well worth the watch. But the AI overview of what happened during Apollo 13 stated, Apollo 13 was NASA's 7th. Oh, in fact, you know what? Can I get this open? Let me throw this to screen share a second. There we go. It says Apollo 13 was NASA's 7th crewed Wikipedia mission and intended 3rd moon landing. It was aborted after a YouTube service module oxygen tank exploded 2 days into the flight, crippling the spacecraft. The crew, Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes, safely returned by using the YouTube lunar module as a lifeboat. which I just thought was highly amusing. That, you know, just highlights just how garbage AI is sometimes, that it gets confused by that. But sorry, I'm just gonna have to mind the volume slightly. I just heard a bang against that wall, which is where a 5-year-old's currently sleeping. So keep the noise down, Rust. Shh. See, he's got it. Emma, who's been a Rusty Fans member for a full 12 months. So, sorry, Tori. I saw Rusty first. JK. I do have to say, I think Rusty, Emma is probably the biggest fan of Rusty here, to be fair. Well, second only to me, obviously.
Polls go for PRM, pending attitude and saws.
I missed what that was.
Hey, we copy. MCCs go. Maneuver starting.
Oh, perigee raise maneuver. There we go. So they've started.
40 minutes of mission elapsed time. The maneuver to the burn attitude has begun. The maneuver also is paired with reorientation of the solar array wings that have been deployed. They will have various positions throughout the duration of the flight. Of course, solar array is meant to maximize the draw of power from the sun. So when deployed, we're in a biased solar array wing configuration that was called solar normal. This allows for the greatest surface area of the solar array wings to be drawing power and powering up those batteries of integrity, of which a cross-tie was enabled between the 4 batteries, the 4 battery buses that are inside of Orion. However, for the perigee raise maneuver, the solar array wings will be put into a position to take on the loads imparted by the ICE.
Yeah, they're all over the place with these animations at the moment. So they're showing the perigee raise burn maneuver, and then saying they've done the perigee raise maneuver cutoff, but they haven't. They're still slowing down. So yeah, it's all a bit over the show and struggling to keep up with what's going on. And still no sign of this other live stream starting anytime soon. So they said it was supposed to start at 11:30. That was nearly an hour ago. So yeah, so it kind of just shows, like, you know, that NASA just can't keep deadlines at the best of times. So, you know, they can't get a live stream started on time. It's little wonder they can't get a rocket launched on time. Dr. Apocalypse says Dave McKeegan, Simon Dan, Creaky Blinder, MC2 and Drunk Debunk all doing live coverage. Flurf brain cells must be catching fire all around the globe. Yeah, well, it was kind of one of those. I think it was inevitable that everyone was going to be doing a live stream. I kind of knew I wanted to do a live stream, but I was reluctant to schedule anything because I knew it was going to be late, and I thought I need to check everything really, make sure that it's not going to be causing a problem if I do a live stream. So I didn't actually schedule the stream until today. But then when I went to schedule the stream, I noticed MC2 had already scheduled his live stream to go live. And I'm always sort of conscious of not wanting to overlap people too much. And I knew Drunk Debunk and Reds were live streaming the thing, the whole launch. So I was sort of mindful of not wanting to jump in on everything. And then I thought, everyone's going to be live streaming it anyway, so it's not really going to make a difference if I'm on it or not. So, since there's bugger all actually happening at the moment anyway, I'm going to have a look back through and see what Reds managed to capture, if anything, as a launch. I'll have a little playback through. Oh, it doesn't actually look like they managed to stream it, to be honest. Yeah, they had a... Oh, that's a shame. He ended up... Drunk Debunk Show did. He was... I think because they were where they were in the sort of car park or wherever next to the shoreline, there was just every man and his dog was trying to stream it. So there was just so much bandwidth traffic that they were having problems trying to get the stream running. So it ended up being, they'd stream for about an hour and 20 minutes and then was having issues. And then it was an 18-minute stream, a 1-minute stream, 43 minutes. He managed to sort it out for a little bit. And then it's just literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 streams over about a course across the course of about the next hour. Some just a few seconds at a time. So I think they were just having major issues. I was trying to watch it in the build up to it all, but they were just lagging, and it was spent more time buffering than it was actually playing. So that. Okay, so this is just NASA going back through, I think. There's not really anything to show at the moment. Yeah, there's... So the NASA's other live broadcast. Is this not what I'm currently watching? Just says live. Oh no, live event starting soon. Yeah, I think they've just ended it. There we go. Okay. So there we are. I don't think they've got anything. What's... Go away. Why is that still playing? I've got an advert playing even though I've closed the window. Is anyone else hearing that, or is it just me? Oh, it's okay. I think it's gone now. It's a bit of a strange delay. So, yeah, I think... What am I hearing now? Is anyone else hearing this, or is it just me? No, not here. Okay, that's okay. First, clearly this is YouTube having a meltdown then, because it's currently playing the audio for a video that isn't actually open on any browser. So I've muted the input, but yeah, it's I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So I'll just keep the headphones out, and I don't think, even if this stream does start, I don't think there's going to be anything really to listen to. So Marshed Sky, Dave, next stream when? If you're referring to me, I don't know when I'll next be streaming, to be honest. I'll see what's happening sort of in terms of... I don't know what broadcasts they're planning as to whether they're going to have... Like, they've got this stream that just says live views from Orion. I don't know whether that's going to be a bit like the live streams from the ISS external cameras that they have, where it's comes and goes, or depending on where the signal's at. So... you know, potentially this will just be a live stream that's running continuously for the next few days, which will cause some people to have an absolute meltdown. But I'll see what's going on. as to whether there's anything worthwhile. I think it's a shame, really. I mean, Artemis is doing a fly by the moon, but they're not going into lunar orbit, I don't believe. Whereas Apollo 8 did actually sort of do a what the hell did they call it? Orbit is an insertion burn to put them into a stable orbit around the moon. And I don't think Artemis II is doing that. I think they're literally just sort of slingshotting around the moon and heading back to Earth. So they're not going to be within the vicinity of the moon for too long, I don't think. So whether they'll be streaming during that period or even when that's going to be, I don't know. I know there was talk they were saying about doing a video call with the ISS. Whether they're going to stream that, I hope so. We'll see. Got cameras on the main feed. Is the main feed back on again now? I am still hearing a random video, so I'll say it's a random video. It's currently Jimmy Carr that's playing, so. But I literally can't turn it off because I don't know where the stream is. So, oh, hello. Yeah, you're right. All right, let me just... let me bring... Oh, God, what am I doing here? There is a video stream. This stream's not started, but the other stream has got some videos. So let me just... Ah, there that is. Right. Okay. Okay, let me just go into studio a second, just while I try and get rid of this. So that's why I could hear it, because it's for some reason there's no browser open, but it's open on OBS. Right, here we go. There we are. So that is live feed from Orion. Not the clearest video. But I think they're still on the backside at the moment. It's hard to keep track of where the hell everything's up to. There's so many streams of everything going on, I can't keep up with everything. And then where's... Okay, so still nothing. They're starting to get the cameras on board, online. Let's see where this goes. Wily Coyote for $5 says Vintage Space is a great reference for everything Apollo. Her research is impeccable. Yeah, Amy's a phenomenal historian for Apollo. I've watched a lot of the videos. In fact, I've not watched all the way through the Apollo 13 video. I've watched a good chunk of it, though. It's definitely well worth a watch. But she's done then some shorts based off it, and it got me looking into it a bit more. So, like, Apollo 13, the movie, came out in 95, I think it was. And by far one of, if not the greatest movie, in my opinion. You know, I used to watch that thing on repeat as a kid. 93, thank you, Gary. Yeah, Planner, it was unlucky, but by the same token, it would also be very forgetful if it wasn't. Because obviously everyone remembers Apollo 11. Even if they don't know it's Apollo 11, they all remember Neil Armstrong and Apollo 11. But then Apollo 12, only really like kind of Apollo nerds know it. Apollo 14 is probably the least known of them. 15, 16, 17 were a bit more notable because you had obviously the rover and the footage from the takeoffs and stuff. But yeah, 14 was kind of very forgetful, and I think 13 probably would have been the same had it actually gone to plan. Whereas the fact that it went so spectacularly wrong made it very memorable. But yeah, the film has been a firm favourite of mine for years, and I could pretty much recite it word for word. Excuse me, your fans can't see you. He's gone. Don't worry, he's not gone far. He's literally just down here. I think he's either just having a little stretch or trying to cool down a little bit. Yeah, 13, Apollo 13 movie, utterly phenomenal. And what I found fascinating was how accurate a lot of the elements of it were. Even like a lot of the terminology that they use is actual terminology that was used during the mission. But there's also elements of it that are inaccurate. So seeing Amy's breakdown. Oh, sorry, I've got an itch on my head. Yeah, watching some of Amy's shorts of it has got me wanting to do a video comparing elements of the actual mission to the movie to show bits that, like, kind of, it's weird, like small details that they get really accurate, and then other bits that they get very, very wrong, but they get it wrong for not like a just probably not as a lack of research. I think Ron Howard probably knew it was inaccurate, but put it there as a way of like just to kind of add to the viewer experience. So she asked, where's the crew camera? It was on the ground but had nothing. What the yeah, I mean, I don't know what their intention is in terms of they probably got loads of cameras on there. They had quite a few cameras obviously for Artemis I, but I don't know how much power all of those draw. So when they were showing the crew on the ground, it was when they were plugged into the ground systems. So I don't think that camera was seen once they'd switched to internal power. So I think they were I don't think that many of the cameras were running until the solar panels are deployed. So yeah, and I think that's why we only saw a glimpse of one camera. Then we've started to see another camera, but that's now gone again. So hopefully they'll get it right. My Avitech for $50. Thank you very much for that. The animation is off and wrong. The computer timing is 7 seconds off. NASA showing blank views of the sky and using the wrong script. Numbers running backwards. The whole sim is breaking down. It's all fake. I'm joking, of course. April Fools. Let's go. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the animations there. Obviously, I think some of it is they've pre-coded, I imagine, chunks of it. Like they pre-rendered the animation, which I noticed that with looking back over CBS. The CBS broadcast of Apollo 11's landing, the actual live broadcast as it went out, because they covered the final power descent to the surface, but they didn't have any of the footage, because the only footage from Apollo that we have now of the actual landing, of them coming down to land, is from the 16mm film camera, well, not a TV camera. So that wasn't actually broadcasting. All the news companies had at the time was just the radio transmissions. So they'd already made these basic animations to show what was going on. But then I think from memory, they'd put the animation in showing a normal powered descent, and then a cut to a studio mock-up of like a full-size replica of a lunar module, and they had people inside it because they were going to be sort of doing a live action reproduction of it. But then Apollo 11 obviously had to delay its landing because where they were intending on landing was a boulder field, so they had to carry on over. So the CBS animation showed them as being landed when they actually weren't. So it's showing like, you know, it suddenly cuts to this this mock-up of a lunar module in a studio, and they haven't actually landed yet. But I'm sure flat earthers will probably, or hoaxers will say that's proof it was fake, even though it said, you know, like mock-up in big letters. John Dorsey, $2. Because I love your channel, you are appreciated. And you are appreciated for the super chat as well, John. Thank you very much. And then Gary, £5. Get some treats for Rusty. He missed all of this. Not that he gives a fuck. But here's my contribution to the treat fund. I'll make him sit down and watch the replays of it all tomorrow. Yeah, they've got the telemetry. I'm just trying to see there. They've got the telemetry map. So that looks like it's out over the Indian Ocean at the moment. Sort of just starting to come into sort of just coming into daylight now. So potentially once they're in daylight and they've got the solar panels, there we go. Yeah, green tea. I'm sorry, I've not got the headphones in, so I'm not actually paying attention to what's been saying. But Green Tea Coffee's just said, trying to get the video feed going. Comms links down. So excellent. Maybe that was linked to whatever the issue they had on the pad was. Let's have a listen.
Did swap to string 2 on board. Also, reminder, we are still receiving good ICPS data.
Again, Capcom, Stan Love, reporting to the crew in the blind, meaning there may be an ability for the crew to hear the calls from the ground. We do know that we are not able to hear any of the crew calls coming from Orion. We did just confirm that we are receiving data from the upper stage, and that allows us to understand and confirm the attitude and orientation of both spacecraft, knowing that they are at solar normal. And with the reboot, we're starting to get some data here. We'll confirm that the data we are receiving is good.
Well, it's still in one piece. That's the good thing.
And with the regain of comm, we're starting to get some views aboard the Orion spacecraft.
Integrity Houston, voice check on Tidris.
There we go.
Loud and clear, Stan Hallis.
And we now have you the same. Good to hear your voice.
And good to hear yours as well.
So just to wind back to my earlier point about me knowing the Apollo 13 movie word for word, I'd probably say this right about now is ideal for Jim Lovell after the engine failure or the sensor engine failure. You go, you can say, looks like we just had a glitch for this mission.
This is Mission Control Houston, though the solutions that were applied to regain the communications from Integrity is not known which one worked. We do know that we are receiving data. We're getting confirmation that is updating some of our telemetry.
I know which one fixed it. It'll be the have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Have
it always
been
works.
Reconfigured to the solar normal. Again, drawing as much power as possible. While
says, don't
Integrity is in flight and awaiting the next burn, the apogee raise burn. And you just heard confirmed, though Stan Love was reporting some things in the blind, meaning we could not hear the crew respond to any of the calls that were going on Orion to Earth. We did confirm from Reed Wiseman.
Other side just confirms he did turn it off and back on. See, I told you, it always works.
Capcom Stan Love was reporting.
And Integrity for comm, while we are sorting out the earlier comm loss, we plan to remain on S-band string 2.
Copy S-band string 2, and Quid 19 has been inhibited for right CCD.
Copy Quid 19.
So I don't know if they had. I'm assuming they've got redundancies of well, I think they had for Apollo as well. They had different radio bands that they could switch between if needed. Because I think they had a high gain and a low gain. I remember Apollo 13 had to switch, I think, between. So perhaps it was they had an issue with one of them. Like I said, I missed a lot of what was going on, unfortunately. So.
Working through his steps at this time in the timeline, mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen.
God, it's 20 to 1. I am tired.
That were activating some of the
Lenterman 26. Where did my super chat go? Did I miss you read it?
From Capcom Stan Lev were received by the crew, so they did copy them and
I can't
address any of the
unless I can't see any other super chat that you've sent me, Lenterman. So that's the first one I've got from you. I've just had a look back through.
For mission specialists 1 and 2, that's Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen. Per the timeline, they are in the period of time to doff or take off the suits.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not seeing any previous super chat from you for me to have read out, unfortunately.
Until after a successful apogee raise burn.
Another YouTube joys glitch, I don't know. And then Bill Tetley, who's been a Rusty Fans member for 12 months. 1 year with you, Dave. Glad I can be part of your great community. Go for the moon, Artemis. Well, it's a pleasure having you here, Bill. Thank you very much for the support as always.
A nominal timeline, of course, addressing the communication link by resetting some ground equipment and changing the string of communications, which addressed the issue, and now we're getting full data from the ICP.
Yeah, so it sounds like they changed the which audio system they were using. Somebody probably unplugged something. Thank you very much, Dan. Yeah, like I said, I'm a bit out of practice. The beginning of the stream didn't go to plan. I had a complete failure with OBS, unfortunately. The software that I use to stream, it's usually just sort of loaded up, it's ready to go, and off you pop. And for some reason, I loaded it up before to start the stream, and it just logged me out of everything. So, amazing. Gary says, amazing to think they're up there orbiting the Earth in preparation for TLI. Mind blowing. Neil asks, when's TLI schedule for? So, as I understand it, they're currently gearing up for this apogee raise burn, which will put them into sort of a high elliptical orbit, but not a full TLI. And then I think they said the TLI burn comes tomorrow, so I think they're going to do... Is it tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. I think it's one full orbit later, but because they're on an elliptical orbit, it's not going to take them the usual amount of time, so I think it's going to be at least a few hours for the TLI burn.
And Stan, we are wrapping up right now. Jeremy will get the HHB cameras after that. There was a tremendous amount of back pressure on all those settings. A little bit of all the
yeah, I think it's one full orbit, but a high elliptical orbit, or potentially it's a few orbits, and it's going to be a day. I'd have to check on that one, but I do know they said that because it's a test flight of Orion, they're not going straight for TLI while they sort of check everything out, you know, and make sure all the audio doesn't mess up.
Flight of integrity.
Integrity Houston, toilet is powered, waste tank purged.
Which, this sort of thing is... Oh, there we are. Meerkat, thank you very much. TLI is 25 hours mission time, so tomorrow, yeah. I did think it was tomorrow, and then for some reason in the back of my mind, I thought someone had said one orbit.
The activation of some of these necessary for...
Yeah, this sort of thing is whenever you see people who bring up the clip of Kelly Smith, the Orion engineer, who talks about going through the Van Allen belts, this is what he's talking about. That, you know, currently I think at the moment Orion is actually flying through the Van Allen belts, and the first test flight they put it into the Van Allen belts to ensure that when it got in there, like, audio going down is a bit of an issue, but if the computers themselves failed, if all the guidance and everything went down, they could be in serious trouble. So there we are. By on this, how did they overcome the Van Allen belts? Well, they just go through them, and very quickly was how they did it with Apollo. Don't loiter in them. In fact, I think Dr. James Van Allen himself, the very person who sort of led the team that discovered the belts, hence they're named after him, did actually say Apollo astronauts would have needed to have basically spent a week just sitting in the belts before they became deadly. So I think, unfortunately, the thing is a lot of people hear the word radiation and just immediately assume Chernobyl, where this isn't the case. A lot of the particles that are within the Van Allen belts are ones that, like, can't even penetrate your skin. The ones that, you know, a lot of the particles are ones that you'd have to physically ingest for them to be very deadly. So the hull of the spacecraft alone filters most of them, and you can get exposed to radiation and it not kill you. I mean, you go outside on any sunny day, you are being bombarded with solar radiation. That is how you get a suntan. But you put a bit of cream on your skin, you can stop that from happening.
Go into error position. We're confident it engaged, but we saw more motion than we expected during the burn. We are cycling the brake on that saw.
Okay, not quite sure what that was going on about, but
Ian Pup, thank you.
Cameras are off. Okay, so cameras off. So I don't know if maybe I suspect maybe this other stream that they've got with the live views isn't going to be happening until they've done a proper system check out of Orion, which obviously if they've got niggly issues they're starting to try and fix. It could well be that they're gonna hold off doing the other streams for a while. I mean, that is a video feed because it keeps coming and going, but it's obviously just not much to see at the moment. Plus, I mean, there's no telemetry, so I don't know exactly how high they are, but they were sort of on an ellipse heading away from Earth anyway, so Earth is presumably somewhere behind them, and getting a bit smaller. Oh, if only they'd spin around now and show it's not a flat pizza with a dome over the top. Right. It's getting to nearly 1 a.m. and there isn't really much happening. So I think I might wrap things up and head to bed. And I can catch up tomorrow with whatever else has been showing. Because, yeah, last time I was streaming this tired, I was in Antarctica and I went delusional. So, I mean, technically, you know, it is now, at least for me, it's now April 2nd. It's no longer April Fool's Day, and I'm still seeing Orion. So, yeah. Yeah, camera facing Earth would have been good. That's the thing, unfortunately. It's kind of one of those that a camera facing Earth would be good, and I'm sure at some point they're going to show it. But that's the funny thing is, like, you get so many flat earthers who I see say, oh, well, why can't they just have a live stream of the Earth from space? It's like, because who the hell cares? Like NASA aren't going to spend it. NASA aren't there thinking, let's launch this giant rocket so that we can show everyone the Earth's not flat. They're not even thinking, let's launch Artemis so that we can prove to people that we went to the moon in the 60s. They're going, you know, we want to go back to the moon now. Yeah, so the, like, NASA aren't doing it for the benefit of conspiracy theorists. They're doing it for their own purpose. So they're not prioritizing showing the Earth like in any great urgency. And realistically, what would be the point? Because the very people who are in sort of dire demand for, we want a live stream of the Earth, go, okay, well, if we give you a live stream of the Earth, it's going to come from NASA in the same, or, you know, it'll come from a space agency in the same way that the regular stream of photos that we get coming of Earth, and they turn around and call all those fake. So they'll just turn around and say any live stream's fake. So, you know, it's interesting for the people who will accept that who'll acknowledge that it's actually real, but for everybody else, they'll just say no. Oh, that is clearly definitely a video because that's turning. Either that or the sun's moving very, very quickly. Why is my earphone not working?
And integrity for toilet, we're going to have to think about that for a while. In the meantime, CCUs are available in Alpha 2.
Okay, I missed what that said. I just read integrity to toilet.
We copy, and I'll be returning the funnel to the cradle.
Hopefully that was just a misprint in the text, and it's not all gone up the shitter.
This is Mission Control Houston, a readback of some of the communications that occurred on Orion to Earth. We're now at 1 hour, 17 minutes of mission elapsed time. We got confirmation that the upper stage and Integrity began a thermal roll. They are on the illuminated side of the Earth right now at an altitude of just a little more than 1,000 statute miles.
Ooh, is that the Earth?
The thermal roll allows for even distribution of heating from the sun at that altitude.
Hey!
Distributes it a little more evenly.
Guess what?
Ahead of the
that's not flat.
In the meantime, mission specialist Christina Cook working on the activation of some environmental control life support systems and waste management systems. Currently, as teams on the ground analyze some troubleshooting of the activation steps that she
now
was
this
going
is
through.
where
She'll
you can
gather
go
some
and
of
try and
the,
find some weather
backup
radars and
waste
see if you can
management,
work out where that is.
capabilities that they have aboard Integrity. just as a precaution while the teams assess how to address what was reported down from Mission Specialist Christina Cook on the fault light. Now at mission elapsed time of 1 hour 18 minutes, launch press conference at the Kennedy Space Center.
Get a satellite.
Where subject matter experts have gathered to and will address the launch that just occurred, and media will ask some questions. As part of our continuous coverage plan, where we are streaming this mission 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, throughout the duration of the Artemis II mission, the briefings themselves will also be streamed on this platform. The time of the beginning of the press briefing is scheduled to be 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm seeing land, so I'm assuming
coming up
that
in just
might
about
be
6
Australia.
minutes.
Although they were close to Australia before.
While
They've not made it across back over to the US yet, have they?
Post-launch press
No,
conference.
they can't be. They're on too high an elliptic. That's got to be Australia.
Integrity thermal roll complete, and a question for Christina for toilet.
All right,
They
Sam,
definitely
let's
said
go
toilet.
And the view of Australia was epic just now. It's amazing to be at this altitude, and Christina's working hard.
Roger. And Integrity, we also have a story about a water tank valve problem during powered flight. We saw an anomalous indication on the water ISO valve between water tanks Bravo and Charlie.
Yes, they've got an issue with the toilet. Well, they could always just open the door and go outside.
Tanks during the PWD checkout, we think that valve is closed. We are going to troubleshoot that going forward.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm gonna just bring this back down, leave that playing for a second while I go through some last super chats and then wrap things up. Because I do need to apologize to Lentoman, who super chatted before asking where the super chat went. For some reason, it's now decided to actually show up on my list. So he said, nice to see the Deniers and Flirts co-part on Facebook now. So I do apologize, Lensman, that for whatever reason wasn't showing up on my list before. Like I said, YouTube seemingly it's just got a mind of its own. But yes, there we are. So that is your super chat read. I don't go on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account anymore. I lost that a few years ago and I've just never replaced it because it used to take up so much of my time. But I do, for my sins, go onto X quite a bit because that is just full of material. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, maybe they have got an issue with the toilet. I don't know who. I wouldn't be. I'd be holding it in if I had a view like that out the window. To be honest, I'd be taking in the views a bit. Twitter. Yes, Twitter. Everyone calls it X, and there's Twitter. Or I meet them in the middle, and I'll call it Twix. Yes, they are having waste management issues. Orion's gone to shit. And then green tea for $20. Have a pint on me. Thanks for everything. Thank you very much. That'll be more than one pint I can get with that. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up, I think, everyone. That is coming on 2.5 hours that I've been streaming now. And yeah, so I think we can all say we've been part of a momentous occasion of seeing this. And I mean, if this is the live stream, I can't wait to see what sort of photos and videos the crew are capturing, because I do know they've got I think they've got Nikon cameras on board, like you know, kind of obviously really top quality cameras and optics that they'll be getting some incredible photos with. And oh, if NASA could just release the raw files of those for all of the deniers who say they want the film rolls from NASA, you know, with digital, they can just publish the raws of everything, which would be incredible. Damn rich Nikon cameras, they must be using the P1000. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if they could handle the P1000. What are you doing, dog? This is standard for him, to be honest. He does this quite a lot. Well, there you go. They are passing over Australia. I'm just currently looking at a satellite image from Australia, but I can't see exactly where that cloud formation is. Any chance, NASA, you could just pitch up a little bit more, or pitch over a little bit more? I know they can't. I know they can't because they're obviously doing their barbecue roll thing, which is where they have to be very mindful of how much time each part of the spacecraft spends pointed towards the sun, because they don't want to fry it. So Bill says it's a really classy dog you have there, Dave. Thank you, Bill. I mean, some would say classy, some would say lazy, or lazy in a classy way, who knows. But that is pretty typical for him. He's just, that's how he tends to just, yeah. I end up taking usually pictures of him when he's like that, or just, I'm sure I took one the other day. No, I must be imagining it. Oh no, there he is. Yeah, that was him like a couple of weeks ago, where he just. I almost wonder sometimes if I need to get a bigger chair because he just doesn't fit. Ignition time.
Is 1 hour 46 minutes and 9 seconds of mission elapsed time.
1 hour 46. That'd be useful if they could point out how long it's been, because I can't remember.
The duration of the burn at the pad was 17 minutes 52 seconds. Ahead of the execution of the burn.
Oh, they're on an hour time. Are they on an hour now?
Reported to the crew.
Oh, might be.
And
I
uploaded
don't know when the burn was. Max says, "Look at that sexy curve." Yes, Max, that is a very sexy curve. Although you know some people are just going to turn around and say that curve is measured flat, aren't you? Yeah. So this is... Oh, and now that stream has now seemingly gone down, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because, yeah, it was an amazing launch to watch, a momentous one. I think anyone who's interested in space will have absolutely been thrilled with that. I'm so envious of the likes of Red's Rhetoric and Drunk Debunk who got to see it in person. But I look forward to seeing Red's Rhetoric's recording of it. In fact, I will put a link in the chat to Red's channel. Because if you're not subscribed already, then you should check it out and keep an eye out, because he'll have, I'm pretty sure, a damn good recording of SLS launching. yeah, I mean, I look forward to seeing what's going to be happening over the next few days and what streams we see. Oh, there we are. Max is saying Reds, Drunk Debunk and Co will go live later tonight. I don't know if that's going to be on Reds' channel or the Drunk Debunk show. The stream before was on Drunk Debunk. Although if you go and check Reds, I think he puts a link anyway. He'll probably put a link. Max, do you know which one it's going to be on? Oh, there we are. Max has put a link in the chat. I'm pretty sure dogs aren't supposed to bend that way. Yeah, Max has put a link in the chat to Drunk Debunk where there will be streaming later on as well. So I don't know whether they'll be able to replay the footage there for you, but I imagine it's going to be incredible. Yeah, so I am going to sign off and head to bed. I'm going to wake the dog up first to then get him to go to bed as well. I've got a video. I'm going to be doing a video about Artemis II and the Van Allen belt. I've got a video that I put a video out today. If you've not seen it, go and check it out, which is all about some flat earthers who have said that the camera's AI fake the moon, and that the craters aren't actually craters, which isn't an April Fool's video. This is actually people who've made that claim. And I then have another video which may be out either next week or the week after, depending on when the Artemis video comes out, where I tackle, for the first video ever that I've done, on chemtrails. Topic that I've not addressed before. So yeah, and then plus, you know, a whole bunch of other videos. Like I said, I'm going to do one I want to do about the Apollo 13 continuity. I want to do a video about, I've been reading, if I can get under here, this book, Images from the Black, is all about American spy satellites during the Cold War. Some really intriguing stuff in there that's all sort of linked to the moon landing, so I want to do a video about that. Don't worry, I'll be with you in a minute. There we go. Yeah, just a whole bunch of other stuff that I want to be delving into as well. So yeah. Busy times ahead, like I said. So how much I'll be able to stream as and when, I don't know. I've been mindful of not overdoing the streams a little bit. I think I know sort of viewerships were down a bit, and I don't know how much of that was potentially just sort of because I shifted a lot of focus away from videos onto live streams. So I'm just trying to sort of find the balance. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to bid everyone a good night or a good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. I'm going to try and play the outro now. I'm hoping it's going to work. I had some issues before playing the intro. But yeah, let me just check I've not missed any. No, I haven't missed anyone's chats out. So, yeah. Everyone, head on over to, I'll either carry on enjoying the NASA live stream or head on over and catch up with Reds or whoever else, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Rusty sits atop his big red chair, casting out looks without a care, with his sidekick Dave close at hand, teaching us about the globe, sunspots or the new space probe. The daring duo will make their stand. Rusty lies in his big red chair, barely rubs legs up in the air. It's a like the fish John West rejected. So many of them to be corrected. Rusty sleeps in his big red chair. Those floppy ears still hear, I swear. He dreams of conspiracies to come. Dave leaves him be, he knows the score. It's action that this hound lives for, and his foes must all eventually succumb. Rusty has a nose for facts, a science-based directive. Battling conspiracy theories like a true canine detective. He can't be denied. So many have tried, so many have failed and ended up dejected. Just like the fish John West rejected. So many of them to be corrected. Yeah, too many of them to be corrected.